Today we are somewhere crazy. Can you guess where we are? Yes, it's Trafalgar Square in London. I'm here with my sister because there's an exhibition going on. But first we're going to head into the National Gallery. I've never been here before, but there's some really famous paintings. We're going to have a little look around as we work on creating a sketchbook spread together, themed all around Vincent van Gogh. Is that the correct pronunciation? I don't know. We're just going to call him Vincent. Some of these paintings are crazy. Like, look at this Leonardo da Vinci. Also got a pretty famous Rembrandt. Like, there's a lot of famous artists here, but we did get lost quite a few times. I do feel like the Borghese Gallery is organized just a little bit better. Like, everything is on different floors. We got lost. A lot of the rooms kind of look the same with a slightly different color, but that's not why we're here. We are here for this exhibition, so let's find something to paint. Whilst I love the dark background in this portrait, I think we need to start with an iconic piece. This is the Starry Night over the Rhone? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I was disappointed that the actual most iconic Starry Night painting wasn't in the exhibition. I kind of thought it would be, but it wasn't. So this is the Starry Night that we're going to be painting. I'm reaching for that big Cardi sketchbook. I absolutely love this. And believe it or not, we actually haven't done a sketchbook session together since last Valentine's Day, like in 2024. This is the sketch that I've got. A little sneak peek at what's to come. But first, this very bare looking sketch. We're going to attempt to paint the Starry Night. And the reason there isn't really a sketch is that I loosely have an idea that may or may not work. And we're starting with watercolor. Wet on wet, filling in that background. Whilst these are all Vincent's pieces, I do want it to look like an interpretation in my own art style. And I have a crazy idea that may or may not work. But first we need to start with watercolor, which obviously Vincent didn't really do, but it's very me. And if we're using this paper, of course I'm going to use watercolor. It would kind of be a waste otherwise. And I think the reason that I haven't done a sketchbook session like this in so long is really because of the daily doodle diary and the create this book. I've just been doing those instead. And whilst the last one we did was over a year ago, we also had like the winter sketchbook session and some movies. We had other ones that were really fun. But now for my crazy idea. I think we can use Neocolors. These are the Neocolor 2 Aquarelle wax pastels, and I have a plan, but I don't know if it's gonna work. First we need to pop down all of those lights, and I think you might be able to see where we're going with this. The harsh light is down, so I'm just gonna attempt to add some looser lines, a little bit lighter, because these lights need to appear as though they are glowing in the night sky. So I'm reaching for a paintbrush and adding a little bit of water because we are attempting to blend out these pastels and make them look like light. I have kind of done this before for a episode of the Scene series where we painted Pretty Woman, but I did that in gouache. I'm thinking Neocolors is going to work a lot better for this because a lot of Vincent's work is not realism, so we can absolutely have marks showing, the texture from the pastels, the loosely added brushstrokes from the paintbrush. All of that is kind of signature for Vincent's work, so I'm really surprised how this first one's gone. Look how many other paintings are in this painting. And this iconic one is very reminiscent of the one that I drew before, standing up in a museum. I'll leave that video down below if you want to see. It's one of my favorite outside sketches. They had a ton of Monet pieces and they are huge. Like, look at this. I have sketched Monet before in that same video, standing up, but that's not what today is about. Even though these are some of the most iconic paintings, like this, Michelangelo and Caravaggio, which is a little bit creepy. We are here for the Vincent van Gogh exhibition and we need to pick our second painting. And I think it has to be this one. This is the bedroom in the yellow house. And this is crazy iconic. I think I remember drawing this for the very first time in primary school. So it made me feel super nostalgic seeing it up close. I'm reaching for those collage supplies because I've just remembered that we have some materials that might work. Got these Starry Night inspired papers and there might be some stickers in here. Well, especially these ones. These ones will definitely work. These are from my first stationery haul I ever did, my Shein haul. And there will actually be a second one coming up soon. So make sure you're subscribed for that. I also remembered that I have this washi tape here, which might be perfect. But first I'm going in with a loose watercolor wash. Because watercolor is a transparent medium, I think this is just going to make the Neocolors pop just a little bit more. But I love that we are using Neocolors because I really haven't included them in many pieces lately. I don't know, I like them, I like sketching with them, but I do find them difficult to include in actual pieces I create. They're a lot of fun though, and I love that I have a big set now. Trying to remember now, but I think the exhibition had maybe 30 pieces, and it was everything that was created during this gap of like 3 years or something crazy. Like, he created so many different paintings in such a short amount of time, and so many of them are crazy iconic, and a lot of them are oils, and it's like, how are you creating them that quickly? Where are you storing these huge paintings? And this doesn't even include like the Starry Night and all of the others. Like, this whole exhibition is just some of the pieces he created in this 3-year gap, and that's crazy. I really need to get a move on because I know Vincent didn't have videos to edit, but he's beaten all of us. He created so many so quickly. But I think Neocolors are going to work. I'm actually reaching for these slightly metallic ones just for fun, really. Plus these two shades that you have seen a lot on my channel, Jade and Sky Blue. They are two of my favorites. And whilst this isn't a realistic piece with fantastic perspective, I think it's pretty cute. The crazy thing about a lot of Vincent's work is just the use of brushstrokes and texture. Like, these pieces were created with black chalk, and it's lovely seeing loads of his drawings because I don't think I'd really seen many before. The way that he can completely switch up mediums and every piece still looks like it's his. That's the dream. I do tend to switch up the mediums that I use a lot, but they never actually look like they are mine. My art style changes with it. Well, I am working on it, but I want to succeed in having a consistent art style that looks different, but still has a similar enough look to tell that they were created by me. But now we're moving on to this painting. This is one of Vincent's many self-portraits, but since this is one of my sketchbook sessions, we have to include collage. We have to stick in some of these papers, the washi tape, some stickers, and just make it a little bit 3D. This is something I've always done for my sketchbook sessions, and maybe I should expand it. Maybe I should try and create some pieces in the Daily Doodle Diary or the Create This Book that represent these sketchbook sessions. Try and make them a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more similar to this, because I do have a little bit of a routine. As you can see right now, as we go in with watercolor again, the thing about this portrait that's so crazy is the sheer number of colors that are in this face. Like, we're starting off with bright yellow before adding pink and orange and green. But you know what? We're keeping it somewhat accurate. And there's a lot of green in this portrait. And portraits are kind of my comfort zone. So we're gonna make something that looks like it was created in my art style. And I think so far it's going pretty well. I mean, they look a little bit ill, but I do think that's kind of the point. The hair is yellow, ginger, green. There's so many different shades in it. But now I'm reaching for those color pencils because I don't think Neocolors will work. I don't think Neocolors will get to a fine enough tip to be able to add all of this little detail. We need to add eyebrow hair, define the nose, the eyes. I just don't think the Neocolors would have been able to do that accurately. And I do think adding colour pencils here was actually the perfect decision. Like, it really brought this piece to life. And whilst recently I have been going a little bit crazy with colour pencil, in my latest movie scene where I attempted to paint a scene from the Titanic, I went a little bit colour pencil heavy, and actually for the next movie scene, I kind of destroyed that one with colour pencils too. So I am being very cautious right now. I will show you that. I will show you the next episode of the scene series. It's actually a little bit of a challenge. I tried to paint an entire movie scene in just 2 hours, but that one went so wrong. I will show you it. It didn't go well. But Vincent here, I'm loving how Vincent's turning out. And I actually created an alternate version for the final daily Doodle Diary episode of 2024, where I used Neocolors instead. We did that on live stream, and I love them both equally. And it's time to reach the gift shop. This is actually the best gift shop I've ever been in if you're an artist. Like, look how cool all of these papers are. They're all 100% cotton, Indian rag paper, which is my favorite. And I almost bought them all, but unfortunately nothing had logos on. And I kind of wanted it to be a souvenir. So all I ended up getting were these 2 prints that I picked out. My favorite pieces from the exhibition, and they look amazing on the art wall. If you want to see the process of me creating the art wall, I'll leave that one down below. But for now, we need to head over to the most iconic painting, the sunflowers. But I have a controversial opinion. I actually prefer the second sunflowers, the ones with a blue background. There's just something about the contrast that I absolutely love. I just feel like they're an improvement from the first. Is that controversial? I don't know. Well, anyway, I started painting them out with the lovely blue background, and then I looked at the reference photo and kind of realized the flowers don't line up. I think I'm supposed to be painting the yellow one. I don't know. I only did the sketch like 2 days before, but I guess I'm just silly. Time to add those perfect stickers. I have them stuck in various places all around the art studio, but I've never found a perfect location as this sketchbook spread. So I had to stick loads down. For the sunflowers, I am mostly sticking with watercolor, but I'm not gonna lie, I did find this really difficult. So I'm reaching for those Neocolors and realizing that they actually suit his style perfectly. But since we're now on the last one, I'm gonna have fun with this. I'm following the reference as much as I can, but some of the locations are a little bit off. So I'm just having fun. You know, I kept looking at both references and I still couldn't figure out which one we're supposed to be painting. Maybe when I did the first sketch, maybe I just swapped halfway. I don't know. It doesn't really look like either of them, but it's loosely inspired by these sunflowers that he's created. So yeah, it doesn't really look like either of them. But I think it's clear what the sketchbook spread is. We're just having fun. As long as it loosely looks like it, I think that's fine. Now that all the line work is down, I'm going back to watercolor to try and add a little bit more definition and texture, bringing back that vase and adding in the iconic Vincent on the vase. Do you know what? I think I got this pretty accurate, I will say. And that's kind of a mood. Maybe I should just write my name on my art too. I love it. I need that kind of confidence in my life. A couple of extra cute stickers and I think this is done. One final look. I love the way that each piece flows into the next with some of Vincent van Gogh's most iconic work. And it's all of my art style. I love it. I love the portrait. That's my favorite. Who's surprised? No one. This was a crazy fun trip and I loved bringing you along. Thank you for being here. Have a lovely rest of your day and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.